Well, actually, I started teaching by accident. My family shifted to Malacca, and I found there was no dance teacher there. And the neighborhood children wanted to learn how to dance. So what I did was push away the furniture in the living room and conducted classes. That was way back in the 59, 60. And we used to charge fees like $12.50 one whole month for a whole month of lessons.
What color is the button?
When I went to stay with my sister in Kuantan, she was the principal of a school. So I used the school hall and taught ballet to the students in the school. Then when I came to the university in Kuala Lumpur, I used to teach like anywhere and everywhere. Asunta Convent School Hall, Methodist Primary Kindergarten Hall, and I remember my first class in PJ was, there was one pianist. I asked my cousin to come play the piano for me, and one teacher and one student. That was how I started way back in the 60s. I started teaching actually in kindergarten halls and school halls here in Petaling Jaya. Although people told me, don't bother, there are a lot of ballet schools around already. But I said, well, I could still try. And from that day, now it's been like, I hate to say it, but it's 38 years since I started teaching. And I'm still doing it. And I love it. To me, it is not work. I never worked in my life. I play at my work. And it's been play. It's still play.
My name is Amanda, and I'm 10 years old this year. All my life, starting from 6 years old, I was dancing ballet, and I really wanted to achieve something in it.
When I started my school 38 years ago, I used to teach the little primary classes myself, of course. There was no other teacher but me. And I used to teach many, many little ones. But I had fun. And now, after all these years, I'm still having fun. And I love the little ones. Well, actually, it was my sisters. I have two older sisters who introduced me to ballet. And they had been in England doing a teacher's training course. And they said, how would you like to take ballet lessons? And before that, I didn't know anything about ballet. And they took me to this little studio in Batu Road. And once I started classes, I was hooked. My first teacher was Suni Go and her partner Blossom Shek. And after Suni left Malaysia, her whole school was transferred to Ethel Foxcroft. So Mrs. Foxcroft was my next teacher, and actually all of us fondly call her Foxy. She's still alive today. And after a few years, my father was transferred to Malacca, and to my horror, I found that there were no ballet teachers in Malacca. So I had to give up lessons, right? And stop dancing. So I told Mrs. Foxcroft my problem. And Foxy said, well, why don't you come down every weekend and do lessons? And I said, but Mrs. Foxcroft, I don't have the money. And she said, well, you just find your bus fare. And she gave me free lessons. Bless her heart. And I'm what I am today because I didn't stop my lessons, and she was the reason why. And now, every Christmas, she gets a check in the post. Every Friday I'll take the bus, take a 3-hour ride down to Kuala Lumpur, do a class on Friday, do a class on Saturday, do a class on Sunday, and back to Malacca for school on Monday. And I carried on like this until 6th form, when my sister was a headmistress in a school in Kuantan. And in the little town of Kuantan, I started the first ballet classes in the east coast of Malaysia. Having finished my 6th form, I then went to Kuala Lumpur. Actually, I was born in Brickfields and entered university. And of course, straight away I was involved in the productions in the Music Society of the University of Malaya. I was a choreographer for West Side Story, Flower Drum Song, Porgy and Bess, and I don't know how I got my degree. Actually, I have a degree in economics and history, but because I never attended lectures. But I had very good friends, you see, and you know what they used to do? They used to copy all the lecture notes through carbon paper so that I'll have a copy. And I guess thanks to them, I got my degree. All my life, been very single-minded about what I want to do. Nothing else. And I would teach, sometimes up to about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and then we start rehearsals and finish at midnight, you know. And the thing is, I did a university degree because it was the thing to do, but the day I finished, I didn't take a job. People asked me, my mother said, why don't you find a proper job instead of prancing around teaching dance? And I said, that's my job, you know? And dance is my passion, and I love what I'm doing. Choreography is both a craft and an art, I think, you know. You can have talent, but it needs a lot of practice, like cooking, to get the right dish out. I've done pieces about the temperaments, the wind, the rain, the sun, the water, and I've done historical pieces. So I love choreography, and I also love, because you see, I'm a historian as well, so I love the history of dance. This is Dame Ninette de Valois. She was the founder of the Royal Ballet Company in England. She founded Margaret Fonteyn, in fact, right? I was having a summer school in the Royal Academy of Dancing, and this ballet actually is one of her famous ballet called Checkmate. And I had de Valois herself correct me. I was one of the red pawns. This is a piece I choreographed. Actually, it was a project by the Ministry of Culture, which commissioned, you know, choreographers to do pieces for a show. And I choreographed this piece called Kota Baru 44, which is about the Japanese invasion. This is also from Kota Baru 44. And this is from my ballet, Contemporary. I love to choreograph in contemporary style, and this is called See Not, Hear Not, Speak Not. This is another piece which was commissioned by the Ministry of Culture. It is called Wind. I like to stack people on top of one another. And that's me. I'm trying to bring our Malaysian culture to America and introduce it to the American people. Actually, I love our traditional culture. Personally, I was thrown in at the deep end because I went to university and joined the Music Society. And they said, first thing they said was, would you like to choreograph for West Side Story? Now, and I said, wow, let me hear the music. And I just went at it, you know. And I would hate to look back at the choreography I did then in the early days. I'm sure I would cringe. But that's Margot Fonteyn, very famous ballerina. Look at this. This is a program of the musical The White Horse Inn, which was staged by the Philharmonic Society of Selangor in 1961. I was very lucky. Those were the early days of TV, and I was involved in a couple of television programs, choreographing, and with other choreographers from the 4 different genres, the Malays, the Chinese. I think we had Gopal Shetty doing Indian dance, Fan Chao Ting doing Chinese, Azmi doing Malay, and I represented the Western dance. So we used to get together and rehearse and throw each other steps from our own genres and see how we can combine it into a little dance. And there was a recording every week for television. Let me see, where's my name? Must be somewhere. Tan Lee Lan. I was born Tan Lee Lan and then became Lee Lee Lan. Malam Irama, 1965. This was in the University of Malaya. I was the choreographer for this. It's the Flower Drum Song. I worked with Ahmad Marakan and Richard Job during the 1960s. And later on, I was lucky to be involved with the Ministry of Culture program, which was called Antara Empat Kaum. And they took us to retreats in Morib, Kelantan, Terengganu, so that we could brainstorm and show each other our styles and ways of movement, and try and, very ambitious, but trying to create a truly Malaysian dance form. It says Lili Lan. I was the choreographer for the show. I took the chance to advertise the school. Later on, I joined the World Dance Alliance, and I had the opportunity to travel and was exposed to a lot of works and pieces done by very, very good choreographers. And each time I saw somebody else's work, I learned and I improved. Here it comes, Showboat. Also University of Malaya, 1963. Yeah, we were very active then. Of course, I had my ballet Soraya, where I incorporated the Malay traditional dance with classical ballet. And we did a full 3-act ballet in the town hall in Kuala Lumpur, and I thought that was very successful. We did this in 1981, but we did it again in 1982 because the Agong couldn't get to see it the first time, and he wanted to see it. It was a fundraising project by the Red Crescent Society. Well, these are more recent shows, you know, dance to raise funds for AIDS. This was Dance Classique, and it was a production to launch the opening of the Istana Budaya in Malaysia. And I had a cast of 60 dancers, and we did a few nights of Russian really classical ballet. I wouldn't say that I've arrived. I say I'm still on my journey, and it is hard work. Dance is hard work, but then hard work never killed anybody. And if you're having a lot of fun at the same time, why not? It was in 1967 that I formally registered my school as the Federal Academy of Ballet. And what I did was, I rented a little house in Section 6 in Petaling Jaya, and I sort of, there was no furniture in the hall because it was used for ballet classes. Then, from one class, it expanded to 2, from 2 to 3, to 3 to 4, and then I had to enroll the help of some of my senior students or other teachers to help me teach. because I couldn't do it all, couldn't cover it all myself. And then that little house in Section 6 became too small. And so I rented a bigger house in Section 14, but I got into trouble because the town council would come and paste notice on my wall and say, you are not supposed to run a business in a residential house, you know. So what I did then was I went to Damansara Utama and I got a shop, a 4-story shop, and started classes there. So that was legit. And from one classroom, we had 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there are 6 classrooms there. And then we found that there was, again, not enough classrooms. So I expanded and got another premise in Section 14 PJ, which is a 5-story building. And we were able to have space to have a theater and a library and things like that, and that was nice. So now we are 5 branches, and we have about 20 studios in the 5 locations, and well, definitely over 1,000 students. Well, this is one of 2, 3 costume rooms that we have. Costumes acquired through the years. Some of them are for commercial shows, and some of them are for traditional dances. We have Mexican hats. How's this for Halloween? And also, we have like costumes for animals. Let's see, I think this is, what does this look like? A bunny. This is another bunny. And I think this is a monkey costume with a headdress. And Cleopatra's headdress. Mexican sombrero, which I hand carried from Mexico. And how about Mexican skirts? And glitter, glitter, glitter. Court costumes. Does this look as if it comes from court of King Louis XIV? Ah, arirang. How's this? Korea, arirang, arirang. And of course, mambo. This is mambo costume, and these are called tutus. That's what classical ballerinas wear. And Indian costume. We do Indian dance, and Malay costumes, Chinese costumes. This is for Sarawak Tatun Julut. So, quite a variety, isn't it? But then, variety is the spice of life, isn't it? I think a dancer must be a thinker and must be knowledgeable about the dance world as well. That's why I have invested in a lot of dance books. And this actually, I think I must have bought it in the 60s or 50s. This is the Tammy Book of Dancing. And this is the Princess Tina book, right? And it's full of pictures and a lot of information on the dance world, which I think, you know, people should know about. Now, other than books and dance magazines galore, we have videos. I'm afraid I'm an ardent collector of videos. There are not only videos of dance, of classical ballet, but there are videos of the national dances of Thailand, Myanmar, Indians, and whatever. I think this must be the biggest dance library here in Malaysia. This is a video on Nureyev. I'm sure you've heard of Nureyev. He's a Russian dancer who defected to the West. And this video has inspired me a lot because it shows how hard he worked, you know, and how far he came, and his life as a dancer. So I think it's very important, you know, for dancers to watch other people dance as well. And if we can't have live shows here, well, we watch videos. Well, this is the Fontaine Theatre. It is our own little theatre, right on the 5th floor of our 5-story studio in Section 14. And it can seat about 160 people. And we've had fantastic things happening here. We have piano recitals, dance productions. We've had a little Asian dance festival here with about 5 countries. So it's been very interesting. It's a little black box. We've got the control room, we've got state-of-the-art audio equipment, and of course stage lightings, all the bar cans, spotlights and everything. State-of-the-art flooring is Harlequin floor, imported all the way from England, and it will last more than a lifetime. 10 years ago, it cost us $20,000, and I'll hate to think what it would cost now. I certainly won't be able to afford it now. And these seats can be collapsed in 5 minutes. So here I am, on top of the world. Oh yes, Joseph. You know, Joseph really loved to dance. And when he was in my company here, Kuala Lumpur Dance Theatre, we used to do a lot of shows together. And I recognized his talent. So I asked the principal of the Bush Davis School in London whether she would give him a scholarship. And guess what? She said yes. After which he did a stint in West End, in Miss Saigon, and in King and I. And he's really been very successful, and I'm very proud of him. And now he's director of dance in ASK, isn't he?
I first met Mrs. Li Lan, many years ago. It was actually when I was a student, a teenager, and I used to follow my friends and go to watch ballet performances because they were all dancers at the Federal Academy of Ballet, and it was very exciting for us who had no idea about the world of ballet to go to watch a performance at the Civic Center. It was at that time, the Petalinjaya Civic Center. And she did her annual performances there. That was my introduction to this very strange and magical world of ballet with point shoes and tutus. And, you know, and then my career went on a different track. I went to musical theater and I did a lot of contemporary work while I was studying, and after I studied in the UK and worked in musical theater. And she came to watch the show, Mrs. Lee, and I remember meeting her backstage, and she was so proud that there was this show in London, and in our biodata it states that here there were 2 boys or 3 boys who had actually trained at the Federal Academy of Ballet, and you know, it was lots of hugs and tears, and it was very exciting, it was very meaningful, and it was very special at that time.
Oh, there are many things that I have not done. Oh, I love to speak 6, 7, 8 languages. And I love to write a book one day. Anybody who wants to take a career in dance must realize that it is really a labor of love. It is hard work, but the rewards are fantastic. I would say what I was, what I am, and what I will be, I owe it all to my mother. One student, one pianist, one teacher in a big room.
Slowly come out and stiff.
Very